Welcome to another edition of Pro Wrestling for Life, everybody. It's me, two-time WWE Hall of Famer, X-Pac. What's going on, Nick? My co-host, Nick Hausman's here.
Yes, thank you, Sean. Yeah, I'm having a great time. I got new shirts. I'm all floral this summer. I'm trying to be like Jimmy Buffett style all the time. So I'm feeling good, right? Yeah. Anyway, we have a huge show for everybody today. You've all asked for it. Many of you have asked for it. When are we going to get Jerry Lynn on the show? So many of you have such fond memories of watching Jerry and Sean work all over the place. Well, we got it here for you today. About an hour conversation between Sean and Jerry here on the show. And then after that, even more, we're going to have Josiah Williams on here, who did Wrestling Flow, deeply ingrained in NXT, responsible for bringing a lot of that hip-hop influence to NXT. A great compliment to the Jerry Lynn conversation. And then at the end of the show, we're going to bring on a patron and we're going to play a game. So a lot to get to here. We have a little bit of housekeeping. We changed the Pro Wrestling for Life Facebook page. We have 1.2 thousand followers over there, so you can go check us out. And we're also going to be dropping the first ever mailbag for our patrons here. I think it'll drop on Thursday or Friday based off of when the schedule lines up for Sean. But we're going to have that out. We're going to answer some of your questions. But I don't want to wait. We have no dilly-dallying to do here because we have so much. So real quick, just wanted to get your thoughts, Sean, right before we finished recording last week, or right after we recorded last week, Samoa Joe, back in NXT. He's working as the muscle here for William Regal. What do you think about the decision for Joe to re-sign with WWE, come back to NXT, and be in this role with Regal?
I'm not shocked. Like, I think everyone kind of thought that might be what happens. Like even before we dropped the show last week, like, there was already rumblings of it, right? It was just, it didn't happen yet. So it was not something we talked about, but
right.
I'm happy for, like, as long as everyone's happy, because NXT fans are happy. I think Samoa Joe fans are happy. Maybe not all of them, because, I'm sure some Samoa Joe fans were probably coming up with dream matches versus Kenny Omega or this person or that, you know what I mean? So, yeah, but good for Joe. As long as he's happy, man. This episode of Pro Wrestling for Life is sponsored by Blue Chew. Say it with us, everyone. Blue Chew. Blue Chew is making waves and bringing more confidence to the bedroom by offering chewable tablets that can help men get stronger and longer lasting erections.
Oh, yeah. It's a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra or Cialis, but in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. Its tablets help men achieve harder, stronger erections to combat all forms of erectile dysfunction.
And Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. And it ships right to your door in discreet packaging.
Wonderful. Yeah, and it's super simple. All you got to do is sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers. Once you're approved, you're going to receive that prescription within days, and the best part, it's done all online.
That's right. And Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription. Don't like swallowing pills? No problems here. Blue Chew's sildenafil and tadalafil tablets are chewable. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA, Nick, and they prepare and ship direct, so it's cheaper than a pharmacy.
So if you could benefit from some extra confidence when it's time to perform, I'm talking a rock hard, strong erection, maybe visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information.
And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code PRO at checkout. Just pay $5 in shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code PRO to receive your first month free. And we thank you, Blue Chew, for sponsoring this podcast. Nick, growing up, cereal was one of the best parts of being a kid, at least for me anyways.
Oh, yeah.
But I give it up because I realized it was full of sugar and junk that you really shouldn't eat.
Yeah, dude, it's super depressing becoming an adult, right? Like, you're a kid one day, you can eat anything, but me now, I'm just trying to cut down on my carbs, my sugar, my unhealthy food. I realized, after doing all that, there's really basically nothing that I can eat anymore.
Yeah, me too. Also, I've been drinking protein shakes for years, trying to get, extra protein. And but I finally found a delicious way to get my protein before and after workouts, Nick.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially as we're all trying to eat better right now. It's nice to know that Magic Spoon, they have 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, and only 140 calories in a serving. That's very good.
Man. Yeah. And it's keto friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low carb, and GMO free, Nick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the best part is you can get this variety pack. So you get to try the whole gamut here. Cocoa, fruity, frosted, and my personal favorite, peanut butter. I just can't get enough of that peanut butter.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, I talk about it a lot. I still haven't tried it. I'm waiting, Magic Spoon, for my birthday cake flavor.
They're sending it. We have the order in. They're sending us the birthday cake. So if you want to try out Magic Spoon, go to magicspoon.com/PRO Pro. Grab your variety pack. Try it today. Be sure to use the promo code PRO. It's just the first half of the word promo, pro, at checkout to save $5 off your order.
And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, Nick, that it's backed with 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked.
Yep, that's it. And so remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/PRO. That's right. Use that code PRO to save $5 off.
That's right. And thank you so much for sponsoring this podcast, Magic Spoon. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm incredibly happy to be talking to this gentleman. I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for him. Jerry Lynn, everybody.
Hey,
What's up, Jerry?
Hey, I could say the same thing about you. I don't think I would either.
Well, I mean, okay, we went over this a little bit on Twitter.
Yeah.
And you said that, and I'm like, dude, it's the same, man. Like, I would love to believe that you and I would have still found some way to make it, and leave our mark in pro wrestling if we hadn't, come across each other. Our paths hadn't crossed. But man, I'm so glad they did.
I am too, because you know what it was like back then. It was Land of the Giants, and everyone was happy just lumbering around, body slamming and clotheslining each other.
Just chopping meat, punch, stomp, punt, like especially up in our neck of the woods.
Yeah, and on us little guys, I got a lot of frequent flyer mileage in the ring. So.
Hey, so I don't want to get too far. Oh, hey, so this is when you started. I don't like to do that, especially with dear friends of mine. But just Jerry Lynn was trained by Brad Rangans, who's one of the great. To me, there's a few guys. I feel like I had the best training you can get, and so did you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's look, man, because there's a lot of good teachers out there. There's a lot of really bad ones too. So I'm just really grateful for mine and for yours. And we used to go. Jerry and I used to go when Brad Rangans would have other camps going. We would go and work out with everyone. And man, I just loved it. Have you talked to Brad Rangans at all?
Actually, I think probably maybe 5-6 months ago.
You're kidding me.
No. Last time, and I've been trying to hunt him down for a while. I've, asked Dan Jesser, but the last time, it's probably been a few years now. WWE came to town, so I went to go down to say hi to the boys, and I got to see Brock, and kayfabe this. Everyone's gonna know, but he gave me Brad's number, and so I called Brad. Left him a message because he's a hermit.
Yeah.
He stays hidden. And I think it took maybe a couple months, but he finally called me back. I was shocked. And I just wanted to thank him, because I told him, I said, I don't think I could have found a better trainer. And
what a good, just an awesome guy too.
Oh, great guy.
Really neat guy.
Oh yeah. But the camp wasn't easy. And he was very brutally honest with us. And I told him I really appreciated that, because he told us day one, he says, don't go into this thinking you're going to be a big superstar and a multimillionaire, because chances are it's not going to happen. And so I appreciated his brutal honesty.
Hey, Jerry, I can't remember who you went to camp with. Did people watching now, do they know any of the people you went through camp?
It was only 3 other guys. I can't remember his last name. It was like Hard Rock Rick or something like that. Big jacked up guy. And
did Burton go through with you?
Yep, Tom Burton.
Tom Burton.
And Todd Becker. I don't know if you remember Todd or not.
A little bit.
He's the one who actually found out about Brad's camp, because we were working together laying telephone cable underground, and he found out about Brad's camp. So
and Tom Burton, like, people might know Tom Burton as, he was also called Beef Burton, and for a while he was in Memphis, and y'all were in Memphis together, right?
Yeah, he was one of the Dirty White Boys.
Yeah, and also, like, people, not that this is the Tom Burton episode, but like, Tom ended up going down, I think, to Nashville, and like, separate from the training with Brad Rangans, he trained with Billy freaking Robinson, and went to UWFI.
Oh yeah, when I first came down to Memphis, actually, that's when Tom was working with that UW. Maybe it's the second time when I moved down there to work for Global with you, but he was working with that UWFI, and one of their guys was over here and training guys in Tennessee, like Billy Scott. Yeah. And so I started training with them. I was initially going to go over there with that company, but they wanted me to train for a whole nother almost a year. And then that's when that Lucha company came up and wanted us to go. And I said, I wanted to go now. I didn't want to wait another year.
Right. So it was similar, man. Like, Jerry, like, I think, like originally, before I ended up in Minnesota, like, I trained doing that with, Masami Soranaka, Carl Gotch's son-in-law, like, because we were, like, a lot of us were going over and doing UWF, before they split up into UWFI and all that stuff. But so, like, originally, like, that was my path too, man. Like, and I love the American pro wrestling too much. I love the actual, doing a couple of spots, and
I think we loved it all.
Yeah,
you and I, because we would watch whatever tapes we could get our hands on, even if it was, Mexico or Japan or England, anything we could get our hands on, we'd watch.
Hey, so Jerry and I, for everybody like that's watching and listening right now, man, you were my best friend, Jerry. Like, we spent whatever free moments we had, man, like, we spent together, and like, whether it was. See, Jerry got me a job at the strip club.
Sorry about if I was a bad influence.
No, man. No, dude. Like, you were like, Jerry kind of gave me his job. He stepped aside and let me have his job. Like
doing the spotlight.
Yeah. Jerry started doing the refereeing for the Beverly Hills Knockouts. They were lady boxers, but they would do these boxing matches that were a work, Nick, but they were great, right?
Oh yeah, the girls they played rough.
Yeah, and the people would go crazy. But anyways, I don't want to get off too. But anyways, so Jerry and I, even when it wasn't wrestling, we were around each other. We were together, and just like, doing like the first time I got arrested was with Jerry Lynn.
Hey, that was the first time I got arrested too.
Oh, did you too?
Remember, I got it too, for right? Contributing to a minor, because you had the open container in the car.
The like Sun Country wine cooler, right?
Yeah.
Like we went to the Apple River on like a big
in Somerset, Wisconsin.
Yeah, to go tubing down the river, and a bunch of people from the strip club, and it was just the funnest time. But when Jerry got me the job there, I hadn't legally turned 18 yet, even. So
really?
No, man, I was 17 when I first got there. Like the first time we worked, I was 17, Jerry.
Well, was it still 19 in Minnesota and 18 in Wisconsin to drink at that point, or no? Or
I think it was 19 then, but they allowed me to work there at 18.
Okay.
And I was in heaven getting to hang out with like, pretty girls and but anyways, They had a trap. They had a tourist trap there, and they caught us.
That's the way they made their money in that small town. Yeah.
Dude, I got arrested in Madison, Wisconsin on some bullshit charges on Halloween weekend. So I share that with you.
Yeah.
Night in the holding tank. It was awful.
Sorry, I didn't mean to expose your corrupting the youth of the late 90s or the late 80s.
Well, we were young and it was harmless fun. We were just drinking on the Apple River. No one was not drinking while tubing down the river.
And everyone was. I was broke, so Jerry had to bail me out. I don't think I ever paid Jerry back.
So what's the origin story here then? Like, we hear about how good of friends you guys were, but when did you? When did you guys meet? When did you guys become friends?
Obviously we met at at George's, Ropers and Fridley. Yeah. It was like our home base, Nick. This bar in Fridley, Minnesota, which was basically northeast Minneapolis, right down the street from
Grandma B's or something?
From Grandma B's, where the Road Warriors and everyone used to bounce, the legendary Grandma B's. It was right down the street from there. Jerry and I used to beat the shit out of each other. God.
We had to, because the fans were up close and personal.
Yeah.
And back then the curtain hadn't been pulled out wide open.
Oh yeah.
So we had to really when the fans are that close, you had to really lay stuff in there.
And it's just like we met each other, but like I was wrestling Matt Derringer, like you were wrestling somebody else, maybe Ricky Rice or something like that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so Jerry was having great matches, not just with me, but also Ricky Rice.
When you look at them now, they weren't so great.
Well, Jerry, for the time, right?
Okay, yeah, for the time.
For the time. And it was, and I talk about this a lot because, we did the best we could, figuring things out on our own, with a little bit of guidance from different, people, just a little advice here and there. But it's not like we had these incredible, experienced veterans to be in the ring. We were figuring this stuff out as we went.
Yes.
And when you look at it through that lens, these were great matches. But there's so many mistakes. Psychology, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. But you know what? It's still, like I told you before, it's still some of my favorite work of my whole career, because we had everyone thinking we really hated each other's guts.
Sure.
And to me, that's a job well done when you make them suspend their belief.
So Jerry and I, we got a gig being in a movie. It was called Crossing the Bridge. It actually was a good movie, man. There's a lot of shitty movies out there. This was actually a good movie. But we played high school seniors, and so we had to cut our hair. So we shot this angle
Mick
on TV.
What is his show? Body Slam Review or something like that?
Saturday night at Ringside on Channel 23. It was Nick, it was a wrestling block. They would have WCW, USWA, and maybe a women's wrestling show, 3 hours of wrestling.
Sure.
And in between, Mick Karch, there would be local segments. And so we would shoot our angles on this show, And so I came and beat Jerry up and cut his hair.
Oh yeah. You had the Golden Idol with you and held me down while you were cutting my hair.
Yeah. So we cut his hair, and then I sold it. We put it in bags and we sold it at the next show.
It was so great. You went and had certificates of authentication printed up and put on each Ziploc baggie with a little curl of hair in there. And he went and sold $80 worth of hair.
Dude, there was more than that. Come on.
I thought that was it. Oh.
No, it might have been your half, because I split it with you, and I don't know why we gave Eddie some, but we did.
We felt obligated because he kept us working. And usually even on spot shows in the middle of Wisconsin or North Dakota, he always paid us $100. So
at least $100.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Harry, when I came to Minnesota and I made my first $100, I thought I'd made it. I swear, man. I was and plus there were shows that had people that you'd heard of, like Adnan, the Baron,
Patera.
We were on shows with these guys, real pro wrestlers.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just this bullshit, show at the flea market with, glorified backyard wrestling. It was real. It felt like we were really pro wrestlers.
Right. Yeah.
So what did that guard think of you two then? What was it like for you guys being the young guys in the locker room, like with those guys?
Well, I heard slow down, where's the fire a lot. So
weird. That's the refrain now, right?
Yes, yeah. That's what I'm saying too sometimes.
Yeah.
I think certain people that kind of thought that there was a sense of entitlement amongst a lot of the independent talent in Minnesota, just because you had Rick Rude, the Road Warriors, Nikita Koloff, that had all made it big, Darso. And so they just assumed if they were like 6 foot plus and 250 pounds and looked like they were on a little bit of shit or whatever, that like the business was theirs for the taking.
Yeah.
Things were starting to change.
Well, you and I went over and above and did more than anyone else and to pursue it. I mean, you and I would even, like I mentioned this when I did your other podcast, that we'd go to Kinko's and Sean knew how to print up posters and flyers and tickets, and we would go paper the town.
Yeah.
So we did a little bit of everything in the business, and everyone else just sat home waiting for the phone to ring.
Yep.
And it doesn't work that way. You got to go get it.
Yeah. Nick?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, so Sean then goes off and becomes the 1, 2, 3 kid. What was it like for you to watch Sean go on that journey and kind of start to take off early on, Jerry?
Oh, it was great. I mean, that's what, everyone's pursuing when you get into the business, is to try and get to the big time. Mm-hmm. So I was happy for him.
Yeah.
Everyone around the Twin Cities always thought I was jealous, but I wasn't. I was very happy for him.
Well,
and because I know you worked your butt off. And why would
we all did, man. You and I both did.
Yeah.
And we were inseparable, man. And then things started happening different for originally after the GWF kind of fell off. They brought you to Memphis, right?
I first went to Memphis, and then the following winter went to GWF.
Oh, it was backwards, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I remember I came back from Memphis, and we didn't tell anybody. We didn't let the fans know anyone, and we wanted to re-up our angle. And so you had Ricky Rice handcuffed to the ring post, and I came in the ring, and you threw a big fireball in my face.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I didn't realize. I rewatched it, and I paused it, and it was like a big giant 3-foot ball of flame engulfing my head. And you said, "Yeah, I told Idol to make it extra big." This was like an extra big wadded ball of flash paper.
Jerry's in the burn unit.
Yeah, I smelled nothing but singed hair for a month after that.
Hey, there were some other things that we did, Nick, before I became 1, 2, 3 kid, like that are really noteworthy, that were really great times for me. And I really like Jerry and I, we went, he hit on it a little bit. We went to this company in Japan called Universal Pro Wrestling. And it was the precursor to like Toriumon, Dragon Gate, all that stuff. It was Ultimo Dragons. Yeah, it was Michinoku started right from that. And so Jerry and I went over there. I went over there once by myself, but then we went over there and we were a team, and we did some really cool. We were a really good team, Jerry.
Yeah, we gelled well.
Yeah.
Well,
and
probably because we knew each other so
team.
well. Yeah,
and really cool double team moves. Like,
yep.
Yeah, they're really good stuff for GIFs or GIF, whatever you want. Like,
sure.
Yeah,
and we had a good feud with Jado and Gato.
Jado and Gato. They were called.
Yeah, they were Takayama and Akiyoshi. At the time.
And
what were they called? I can't remember.
Cooley and Cooley Cross. Anyway, they had these really weird, crazy gimmicks. But Gato ended up teaming with Pat Tanaka for a while, and Jerry and I had some great matches with Pat Tanaka and Gato. They were great, actually.
What was really great about Pat was the one time leaving Minneapolis for Japan, our flight was delayed a few hours. And I don't know how he did it, but he talked him into bumping us all up into first class.
Pat! Yeah.
So that made that flight so much better. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's the first time
that was the first and only time I flew first class all the way to Japan.
Yeah, but so Nick, to get back to like what you were asking about and what Jerry just hit on, the thing is, Jerry, I wouldn't blame you if you were like kind of like a little bit like, what the fuck, man? Because once I got hired, like man, I was. And if you're not working WWF at the time, it's hard to understand, but like you're just gone and you're so like, it's 300 days and like you just worn the fuck out. And so like, I'm pretty sure Jerry never heard from me again. So like, seriously, man, actually, I can understand. I can understand.
You know what? For a while it bothered me. I never heard from you again. But then when you think about it, there were no cell phones back then. You didn't have a phone on you 24/7. I couldn't tell you how many times I ran to a payphone with a pocket full of quarters, Yeah. So it was hard to keep in touch back then, especially if you're on the road nonstop. And it was expensive calling long distance back then.
Thank you for making excuses for me.
No, I'm sorry.
You're a good friend.
You did a really good job of really covering John's ass.
Well, what are friends for? Right?
Exactly.
But in all reality, that's the way it was back then. It was hard to keep in touch when you're on the road full time.
Yeah. And also, like people are aware of my story once I got there and how I got caught up and shit. And just, I had my head up my ass for quite a good portion of that too. So, it was hard to think of.
I've had my time frames with my head up my butt and a lot of drinking and, didn't have a care in the world about nothing, just the gypsy life on the road and who gives a crap about anything.
Yeah, basically.
And, that was, there were times, people, when you look back at it, you and I broke in when it was still the Wild West. I was talking to Jericho about that a while ago. And it was like the Wild West back then.
Yeah.
But it was because there was no internet. There was no, there wasn't even Discman or Walkman yet, besides cell phones and iPods and whatever for entertainment. So that's why it was crazy back then. You did that so you wouldn't go stir crazy sitting in a hotel room every night.
Yeah. Or you could do other things to keep them going stir crazy.
Well. Oh.
Yeah, because so Sean was over WWF, but you were in WCW at the same time. Like, were the culture? That was not obviously the high point of WCW quite yet when you were there, Jerry. While Sean was kind of taking off in WWE. Right?
It was getting there because that's when they already had the NWO formed and they had all the big guns there. So
because you guys kind of passed like ships in the night there. There wasn't like a whole lot of crossover there.
I don't know if I even saw you in WCW. Did I?
No.
No.
You were
WWF
already like ECW by then, right?
Yeah. I was only in WCW for a year.
Right.
And then went to ECW.
Right. Yeah. Because that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Hey, Chair. Hey, man. How did the GWF gig end for you? Because for me, I don't know if you remember, like did you have like a $300 guarantee?
No.
Oh,
I think I was getting $1.50 a night.
Oh, well, they were paid at first they paid me like even if I didn't go, like, but then they couldn't pay me anymore. So it was like they just quit bringing me down.
That's why I moved to Nashville again because Eddie said they were using a lot of Tennessee guys, so I moved down there. So if the budget got tight, they would stop flying people in. So if you were there, they'd keep using you. But remember in Minneapolis, I broke my ankle at Roper's that match.
You dove onto me and your leg got caught behind me. I caught you.
Someone spilled a drink on the dance floor and my foot hit it and just folded and broke my ankle.
Yeah.
Well, I came back too soon from that broken ankle. I came back in 6 weeks instead of 8 weeks, and I shouldn't have. So the whole time in Global, my ankle was bothering me really bad.
Wow. Okay.
So I had the light heavyweight belt, and I was going to wrestle Barry Horowitz that night. And so I walked in the office. It was Eddie and
Eddie Gilbert?
Craig? Yeah, Eddie Gilbert. And was it Craig, the announcer?
Tall Craig.
Yeah. And I asked him, I said, is there any way we can get this belt off me tonight? I said, my ankle's been bothering me. I need to take some time off. And Eddie was in shock. He looked at Craig and says, you believe this kid? He's asking us to take the belt off of him. But yeah, I had to take some time off. So that was a very valuable lesson. My first broken bone, I came back too soon. Yeah. So I always tell everyone, don't come back too soon. You'll end up taking more time off.
Yeah. So, hey, Jerry, this, like, talking about this now, it's making me think of when, so originally I beat you in the tournament, right, for that belt. Mm-hmm. And then later on, it was like, was it like a Christmas show or something?
That
like,
sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. And I came back and we had a 2 out of 3 falls match, and it was like almost an hour, right? It was pretty close to an hour, all 3 falls.
It was a while.
It was almost the whole show. It was almost the whole episode.
I just hated that it had to be with our finishers.
That was what I was going to get to. That's what I was going to get to. The stipulation, it didn't ruin the match, but it really took a lot out of it, man.
Yes.
Yeah. Because we didn't know better at the time, right?
No. And there were times where I think I instinctively covered you, like the one time, and then was it James Beard? Was he the ref? Yeah. And he would tell me, hey, I can't count. It's got to be your finisher. And I'm like, So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so, okay, for anyone that's wondering what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah, we should go into that.
I was gonna ask, but you guys were so lost.
It's a 2 out of 3 falls for the GWF light heavyweight title. Me versus Jerry, and the stipulation is we can only win with our finishing move. And Jerry's was the sleeper hold, and mine was a tombstone pile driver.
I wish I would have kept the sleeper instead of that stupid pile driver I've been doing all them years. I wouldn't have needed 2 new hips.
Oh, really? Is that what that's from?
From landing on my butt? Well, first, early in your career, it's a top rope leg drop. Then it becomes 10 years in, a second rope leg drop. Then after a while, I'll just do it from the mat. And then, between that and the cradle pile driver and sit out power bombs, who knows how many times I landed on my butt. So yeah, your hips don't like that. But anyway.
Yeah, no. Well, that's good. Have you been doing the DDP yoga then, Jerry, or no?
Actually, yes. And it helps my lower back a lot. Oh, that's awesome. I only do the basics. I'm still on. My favorite one is the where it shows you're laying in bed and doing it. The third one, but I got a nice gymnastics mat at home, so I just do it on the floor. But that one helps my lower back so much.
How is it for you getting to work? I mean, obviously Dallas, you guys are in that AEW orbit. Like, kind of flash forward here a little bit. Like, how is it for you right now, getting to still be like actively part of creating wrestling right now, Jerry, and like passing on your knowledge to the next generation of pro wrestlers at the moment?
I love it. I mean, every once in a while I'll do a seminar also, but you have some that you can tell it goes in one ear and out the other, and which is fine. You'll find your own. I don't know. But then when you see the light bulb go off in their eyes, that's the payoff. It's really nice when you have ones that really soak it in and learn. And I tell them, first and foremost, even when I do seminars, everything I preach to you, I'm 100% guilty of. But that's how I've learned.
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah. Hey, Jer. Hey, man. It's so cool, and it makes me feel so good to see you somewhere where you're obviously valued,
right?
Tony Khan is obviously, as well he should be, a big Jerry Lynn man, right? And it just makes me feel so good, man, because that's where you totally deserve it, man.
Well, thank you. I always hoped I made enough friends along the way that I'd have a job afterwards someday, because it was hard. It was hard having to quit. I went through like a 2-year depression of drinking every day. And, I put my poor wife through hell, but she's stuck in there and she didn't ride me or give me any grief. She knew I would just, run its course and I'd be fine.
Hey, so once it ran its course, okay, since you just brought it up. So when you kind of were trying to get out of wrestling or whatever decision you had made, you went through, you had some rough times with it, and
I didn't have a choice. My body said,
"Oh, that's right, yeah,
it's done," and so I knew, I knew it was coming to an end.
Yeah,
especially because while I was still wrestling full time, I had a knee surgery and a shoulder surgery. But then finally, I think it was in 2010, I had to get lower back surgery. I had a ruptured disc, and they had to go in and take a chunk out. And that put a whole different, spin on things. Once you mess up your spine, that's a whole different ball game. And so I couldn't wrestle full time anymore. And so my wife begged her boss to give me a job. So he gave me a job, thankfully, out in the warehouse. But I still had to wrestle part time to make the bills, because they didn't start me at a lot of money. But I could tell every time after every match, just wrestling part time, my body's just screaming at me, "What are you doing?" And so I knew it was coming to an end. And then finally, and I just didn't know how to decide, and Pam kept asking me, "How long are you going to be wrestling?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "I know it's coming to an end, but I don't know." And I would think, okay, where do I want my last match to be? And then I would think, well, who would I want it to be with? And I couldn't even think of any, and finally, I think I was wrestling in New Jersey for Pro Wrestling Syndicate. I was wrestling Dan Moff. And we had I did the little flippy cannonball off the apron on him. When he caught me, I don't know if he took a bump or what, but he hit his head on the floor and I didn't know, and he was concussed. And so after that, things were getting screwed up in the match. And we had a spot where he would overhead press me and I'd kick into a DDT out of it. And because he was concussed, he took a bad bump and got a bad stinger, which I didn't know at the time. I just knew something wasn't right.
Yeah.
And so on the finish, I had to actually pull him on top of me to pin me. And after the 1, 2, 3, I told the ref to check on him. And so, because as soon as the 1, 2, 3 happened, he rolled out of the ring. And the ref came back and I said, "Is he okay?" And he says, "No, he can't feel his legs." And I said, "Oh boy." So that's when the light went on. And I said that. So I thought, well, they're checking on him. I thought I'd eat up some time, and I grabbed the mic. And that's when I said, "This is my last year wrestling." So, and that was in June. So I gave it, I said, all right, now's the time. I got to decide. And it just made me realize I'm really pushing my luck here.
Yeah. And then you decided to have your retirement match in Minneapolis?
Well, I didn't know still. I knew I had 6 months to go, and I forgot how many regulars I used to have on the indies. Because, I worked only a year with WCW and a year with WWF, and then, ECW for about, 3.5, 4 years or something like that.
Yeah.
But all the rest of the time with Ring of Honor, TNA, I was still working indies. So like the majority of my career, I still worked the indies. Mm-hmm. And so I forgot how many regulars I had. So the phone started ringing off the hook once word got out that was my last year. So I was thinking, all right, I'll have 2 matches a month. Well, I ended up having 2 matches, sometimes 3 a weekend. Wow. And it was killing me. I mean, I showed up at one show and the guy says, "I want you to go 28 minutes with my best guy." And I said, "I can't do that anymore." I said, "I'm quitting because my body's done." I said, "Put me in a 3 or a 4-way or something, or a tag, something." I said, "I can't go out there and do it anymore." And plus, what I did was, after I decided that I was going to retire at the end of the year, I quit working out. Because every time I'd work out, I'd start feeling good. And I go, well, maybe I can go a couple more years. And I said, nope. So I quit working out entirely. That's why I went to the shirts team, because I started looking horrible. And so, but I didn't want to be tempted to keep on going. So I quit working out entirely. And then, so after, when I got into December, of course, there were other promoters calling saying, "Can you just push it back? We got our big show in January," and blah, blah, blah. And so I pushed it back another month, then another month. Then Kathy Carlson called me up and she says, "So have you decided where you're going to have your last match?" I said, "Well, I was thinking on a bigger indie out east, I wanted it to be a good, decent sized show at least, and not in front of 40 people.
Right.
And she says, Heavy D wants to book a show and do it and promote the show for you. And I knew he did great shows because he always would draw, at least 1,000 people.
Like he would do big budget shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Nick, so
he she got me in touch with him, and he said he wanted to book the Minneapolis Convention Center. And I thought, well, that'd be great. That's nostalgic because that's where the old AWA used to run. Was there when it was, what was it called there? I can't remember. But anyway,
I'm not sure if it was the same building by that time, but
it was the same plot of land.
Yeah.
But so I thought, well, that's pretty cool. It's kind of nostalgic. But I couldn't think of who I wanted to wrestle. And I was thinking about it, and I thought, well, I knew you were still wrestling. And then I thought, well,
none of us were doing singles matches anymore, though.
Right? And then I thought, well, Horace and JB were still wrestling. I thought, well, why don't I just have, a four-way with all, 3 opponents that I had feuds with early on in my career. And that's just how it all came together.
Yeah. And then, man, I have to apologize to you publicly, Jerry.
For what?
Because, well, I don't know if publicly, but I'm doing it publicly. Fuck it. I mean, you must remember, I was awful to deal with that night. Like, you would have thought it was my freaking retirement match.
Between you and me, kayfabe this. It wasn't just you.
Oh, really?
Because it seemed like Horace and JB had their own agendas too.
It was weird, right?
And to tell you the truth, it wasn't fun putting that match together because it was too difficult. And I just wanted to go out and have fun with my friends on my last match. And we took I didn't even get to see none of us saw any of the show because we spent the whole show putting that together. And it was too much
pulling teeth.
Yeah.
It was pulling teeth.
And it shouldn't have been that way.
And and it was your retirement match. And so my apology is for my part in that.
No, you know what? It's okay. Because when I looked back on it later on that night, I just went, yes, this match, the way it took putting this match together really affirmed that I needed to quit wrestling.
So Nick, anyways.
Yes.
You'll appreciate this.
Thank you.
I thought it was a real nice match.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so a couple of things happened. First, I tear my asshole for the second time. Yep. Nick was the manager of the guy I was working with the first time I tore my asshole.
I had to throw boots.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I was kicking him on the outside, and I was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And he's like, "I ripped my asshole in half. I need you to keep kicking me right now to buy time." And I don't know.
You don't hear that every match.
Yeah, so as soon as I landed, I was like, "Oh, I tore my asshole," and then so we ended up doing 5 more minutes, and everything still laid out okay.
Dude, in retrospect, I'm shocked at how much you did that match, knowing how badly your asshole.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, to me, that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the finish got screwed up, and I blew a gasket. This is Jerry's retirement, and the ref screwed the finish up. And I know he didn't mean to, but that was so important. Oh my God. So basically, I just came up with this on the fly that, okay, then Jerry's got to just beat everybody. So remember, you just beat me. I think you pinned everybody, right?
No, I pile drove you, and I pile drove Horace, and you were yelling for JB to get in the ring.
Yeah,
and he was out on the floor selling, but he wouldn't get in. So I don't know if he couldn't hear us and didn't know what was going on or what the deal was.
He just wasn't going to do a job in Minneapolis.
But that was fine. It was just like I said, it just reaffirmed I really needed to quit wrestling.
I mean, it sounds like nothing else a very memorable retirement match.
Well,
right?
Here's the thing: it's Jerry's retirement, and the news coming out of it all over news is not Jerry retires; it's Sean Waltman tore his asshole. So it's just like, Jesus Christ, can't he just have one thing?
Nah, that's fine.
Excuse my language, Jerry. Sorry about the language.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
I
felt bad for you, man.
Yeah.
Twice.
Then later we're at the after party and everybody's having a good time. And I just put my tracksuit on. I just put my tracksuit on over my gear. I didn't even take my gear off. And then all of a sudden I felt I sprung a leak at the after party, and that was it, man. I had to leave. I had to leave real quick, and next thing I know, I'm in the hospital getting a sphincterplasty surgery. So yeah, sorry, Jerry.
Hey, that's I feel bad for you.
I have a feeling Jerry's retirement match is going to probably be making some news this week again, because of this exchange here right now. But anyway,
yeah, we had some fun. We played with some toys. It was
all right.
Yeah.
Well, kind of back real quick to what you're doing now, Jerry. You work with Tony. Tony's a known huge ECW fan. You are so synonymous with the height of ECW. How is it getting to work with Tony? Obviously, I'm sure he has a great appreciation for you, Jerry.
Oh, great. Well, the first thing he reminded me of was he said he used to race home after school so we could watch Sean and I on Global.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I said, you're too young. How old are you? It's like, you're too young to remember that. But he remembers everything. Yeah. But no, it's great working for Tony. He's a really great guy. And he actually, I've said this many times, this is the best company I've worked for, even outside the wrestling industry, because you're treated like a human being and not just a number.
All right. So, Jerry, the reason why I brought up, you started talking about having a rough time and, making the decision to get out. Did that affect your decision when the wrestling industry is trying to pull you back in? Did you have to have second thoughts or think about it a little bit before you took a job there?
Oh, no. Because still along the way, even because I was at that regular job for 9 years before AEW came up. But I would still occasionally do an autograph signing or a convention or a seminar or something. So I was still dabbling a little bit in the business. I wasn't out completely.
So have you ever felt have you ever been mad at wrestling? Have you ever been mad at the business?
Oh, yeah.
Bitter
Are you kidding me? The first time I met Roddy Piper was at TNA, and I saw him after the show at TGI Fridays. And so I went and sat next to him. We talked for a while, and I told him, I said, you know what? I said, wrestling is a real love-hate relationship. I said, sometimes I hate the fact that I love it so much. And he said, that's a great way of putting it. But yeah, it's a tough grind, and it's very, if you let it, it will, it does affect you mentally and emotionally,
Especially when you love something more than the love you get back from it.
Yes,
oh my God, right?
Yeah. It's a tough grind, and it's more than a full-time job. If you really want to pursue it, it's 24/7. Yeah.
So you have to do like we did, in my opinion, to really make it. You just got to live it, breathe it.
Yep.
Oh man.
And you can't stay home and wait for the phone to ring. I threw all my clothes, whatever little few belongings I had, in 4 boxes in my 80 Plymouth Horizon, and I drove across country. And I couldn't afford a hotel room. I'd pull into a truck stop and sleep in my car.
Yellow? Was that a light color?
Yes,
yellow?
Rusty.
Yeah, I remember that.
Door handles broke from the winter. Yeah. Near the end, I had to climb in through the hatchback because none of the door handles worked. Yeah, that thing drove that thing all over the country.
Oh, yeah.
I still know a lot of guys that do stuff like that. I think some of them AEW Dark, this past couple of years.
That's what you have to do. Because Sean and I would both get back home from the tour of Japan or something, and all the guys in Minneapolis would be going, well, why ain't I getting anywhere? Well, the phone ain't going to ring. You got to go get it.
Yeah. That was it, man. That's exactly what I was getting to a little while ago. It was just, there was a sense of entitlement. And I understand it, Jerry. I'm not. Well, I don't blame them for feeling it because they were you kind of think that's the way it is,
Right. Especially if you're big and jacked up back then. That's everyone thought that's all it took was the look.
Yep.
But I don't know. In some instances, that is what all it took. But
Hey, Jerry, were you on the like, you know, the stuff. Did you see the AEW or the AEW, the A&E? No, it wasn't the A&E. Oh my God. Boy, I'm doing great today.
Are you talking about Dark Side of Wrestling?
Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
With Dynamite Kid?
Yes.
Were you at that Michinoku Pro show that he was there? Like, so you weren't on that show?
No, I think that was after I was done with Michinoku.
Oh, okay.
But I always heard from a few of the guys in Minneapolis some of the horror stories about this Calgary Stampede territory. And I said, and all the ribs and stuff. And I said, I'm never going up there. Because it was mean ribs, not even fun, laughable ribs. Yeah. It was, I said, nope, that's one place I'm not going.
Yeah, no, brutal. Like people getting their bed lit on fire while they're sleeping in it.
Oh, like, your bag tossed out on the interstate.
Your parka, like you still make a vest out of your freaking winter coat. Like, I mean, it was just really like, that's not even ribs, man. It was just mean spirited, just fucking evil shit.
Yeah. So,
wow. I mean, there was a couple guys from Minneapolis that came up to there that nobody would think twice about screwing with. Like, I guarantee you, nobody ripped Lethal Larry Cameron.
Oh, no.
And even though he was a small guy, I guarantee you, nobody messed with Tommy Ferrara up there.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, but hey, Nick, is there some stuff you want to add to this? That's like from an outside perspective. It's not just Jerry and I, you know, like catching up on old times.
No, well, that's the thing is I kind of along for the ride here for this one is, you know, I jumped in when I felt like, you know, but like the fans wanted to just see and hear you guys, you know, like you talk about Tony Khan running home and he's a Chicago area guy, right? I was more down in Texas. That was my jam growing up. But like, you know, there is such fond memories. And like, again, just thinking about you at AEW and like the style they do. And like the fact that it's guys like the Bucks running the show, I would think that there's like a huge appreciation for you there. And it's got to be like, I would just think they're going to you all the time for just advice or input or just help, just knowing the way that the influences their work and like how you just fall into that vertical for so many things over there right now.
Well, you know, I'll get a lot of people ask me, but you know, a lot of them will say, when are you going to coach my match? I'll say, well, you got to ask for me, you know, and then the company will know, you know, that you enjoy working with me. And so I always just tell them, make sure you ask and raise my clout with the company, hopefully.
Hey, so Chair, so like, do you mind me asking, like, how does that work there? Because I know I've heard people mention that it's not like, you know, WWE where like the producer of the match is on you and like, you know what I mean? Like over, like, you know, over like.
I choose my spots because I could never do what they do. And I want them to paint their picture, you know, but I always try and, you know, let's first and foremost, what's the business of the match?
Yeah.
And then let's come up with an outline. And then you guys put together what you would do. And then if something sticks out like a sore thumb, let's fix it.
Yeah.
And have it to where, you know, and I don't just ever say, no, that sucks. I always say, well, that really doesn't work here. And here's why. And here's an example of what I would do or what I have done and of how it could be better, but do it how you would do it, you know, because so I just like that. I want them to paint their picture and do what they do because, you know, they're not going to, you know, like I said, I could never do what they do now.
Sure. Yeah. But man, I know that, I would like to think, Jerry, that if we had someone like that back when we were younger, like before we went, you know, WWF, all this shit, like I would like to think that we would have been open and receptive to that. Like, but I don't know. Like,
well, there are certain things I remember, like from Baron von Raschke and Sheik Adnan, because I learned a lot from them just from being on some, you know, a lot of indie shots with them. Like Baron taught me. Never beg the crowd.
You mean like
someone? Yes, someone had me in a bear hug, a big monster guy, you know, big guy, little guy match. Had me in a bear hug, and of course, I started doing this behind his head to get the crowd going.
Oh, while you're in the bear hug?
Yes. And I get in the back, and Baron says, "What the hell is that?" He says, "If someone's crushing your lower back," he says, "would you actually be doing that?" I said, "No." He says, what would you be doing? I'd be trying to get his hands off, you know?
Right.
So I really reiterate to people selling and selling realistically. I tell them, you know, the days of the 80s, you know, jobber crappie flop seller over. Sell realistically.
Yeah.
And I tell them, like, that's one thing, first day of camp. That's what Brad said. He says, you want to be a good worker? Learn how to sell. And they call it selling because that's what makes them buy it. The minute you stop selling is the minute they stop caring about you. Then they can sit back in their chair, breathe a sigh of relief and go, oh, okay, he's okay. Instead of being on the edge of their seat going, come on. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's what I really, and I learned, especially in ECW, because when I was in WCW, a friend of mine and I would get together at 2:00 in the morning and watch ECW. And I swore up and down, I said, that's one company I will never work for. Because we're watching Balls and Sandman trade chair shots, and they're clocking each other with whatever the fans are handing over the rail, frying pans, microwave ovens, Super Nintendos, you name it. One time I saw the kitchen, like a kitchen sink got handed over the rail. So, but when it came time to go there, I learned real fast that the business is going to continue to change and evolve. And if you want to survive in the business, you have to be willing to change and evolve with it. But there are certain basic fundamentals and basic principles I will always stand by, and one of them is selling. And if we're not willing to try and suspend their beliefs, it's not fair for us to expect them to blow the roof off the place, you know? Yeah. And I preach that to a lot of the guys.
Yeah, you know, Jerry, man, since you just brought ECW up, you rose to the top in ECW without being that hardcore, you know, not that you weren't afraid to dabble in it, because you and I beat the shit out of each other.
I was telling someone we'd be in the middle of a spot show in North Dakota, and we'd be in the locker room. We'd hear the people laughing because some of the other guys weren't very good. And so we'd look at each other and go, well, we got to kick it up a notch. So we'd add a chair shot and get color, and then we'd get the people back.
Botno, North Dakota.
Yes, Botno. Yeah. That's what we drove Marvin's Chevy Chevette up there.
Yep.
And we took a wrong turn and ran out of asphalt, and we were in a cornfield.
Oh my God, that's right.
We bottomed out twice. I'm surprised that car still had an exhaust.
That was a fun trip.
But anyway, in ECW, I knew I was going to have to, you know, do more stuff, but you and I always did that. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. I just love you being like, I would never go there. And the next thing it's like, well, I guess I'll just write die in Steve Carino's blood. Right? Like,
but
shots ever.
I wasn't getting hit in the head with a frying pan though, that match either.
Yes, hey man. Dude. Also, I gotta bring this up, man. You know, you went to ROH, ended up on top there too. So on top of ECW, the hardcore, and on top of ROH, that their thing is wrestling.
ECW is where I got fed up because I thought everywhere I went, I felt like I had more to offer, but no one was letting me. You know, with you and I, we were like, Eddie would let us book our own stuff, you know. Mm-hmm. But so I just felt handcuffed everywhere I went. And then ECW, I would come up with some cool ideas for table spots or something, and I'd always get shot down when I'd ask for permission. So it was Justin and I. Yeah. So Justin Credible and I, we had our big, I think it was a 2 out of 3 falls match in the arena in Philly. And I told him before the match, before the show, I said, tonight we're not asking permission to do anything. We're just going to go out there and do what we do. Yeah. And that's when things started to change for me in ECW. Then I knew I wasn't going to get yelled at or bitched at. So after that, I just went out and did what I do, you know.
Hey man, if the checks are going to bounce, I'm at least going to get some creative satisfaction out of this shit.
Right? I at least want to go out and have fun, you know. But you know, Ring of Honor was hard because I got a lot of flack because I was an old guy in a young guy's company. So I was. Yeah,
you were the best one there.
I don't know about that.
Well, you were right up there.
They had a lot of great talent there.
Yeah, but technically, but but you were right up there with them technically, and I mean, the total package, Jerry. the psycho, like you just, yeah, dude, don't sell yourself short. Get out of here.
Well, I mean, it was what I'm trying to think. What was it? 2009. So I was
Were you 40?
46 when I was in Ring of Honor. Yeah. Oof. So it wasn't easy keeping up with those guys. But at the same time, I'll say this. There were times I felt like I was the only one selling in the ring. And that would get frustrating because here I am selling my butt off for you and you're not selling a thing. But, that's just part of the learning process for them, Yeah. But I hope, that they brought me there and gave me that push because they liked my work, not just because it was of a playoff. I know they were playing it off that movie, The Wrestler.
Yeah.
But I hoped it wasn't just because of that.
Yeah, because when I thought about you in that 2009 ROH era, because that's immediately what comes to mind to me as I remember your name being tossed around as not the inspiration, but one of kind of the people that Mickey Rourke was a little bit based off. He even had kind of that look with the blonde locks and everything.
I hope it wasn't based off me.
Right? Yeah, come on.
No, it was a composition, I think, is of many people. But I just remember you turning that mix around there.
Jesus, I mean, people would ask me about that movie, and I would say, yeah, man, that's a, kind of it's a pretty common story. A lot of us can relate to certain parts of it.
Oh yeah.
So it was fairly accurate. I said, but at the same time, man, that's not there are, not every ending is a sad ending. Not every story ends tragically. We can, write our own stories here. I'm doing write mine and you're writing yours. It's not I'm determined for my story not to end tragically or sad.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
You got good people around you. I'm going to do my best to make sure that you don't wind up sleeping on the side of the road. Figures. That's the goal, right?
Yeah, that was. I went and saw that movie with Erica when she was, I think she was 15 or 16 at the Uptown Theater.
Yeah.
And the part when he's walking with his daughter on the boardwalk, I just lost it. I started bawling in the theater, and I said, "I'm sorry to Erica," and because I wasn't there for half her life, so it was rough seeing it with her.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it's a common story with. I'll bet you just about every wrestler can relate to some parts of that movie.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we've taken you past the time we told you.
Yeah, Jerry, I'm sorry, man.
Oh, I don't mind at all.
I know, but here's the thing. So this is coming out on Thursday, right? If you're listening to this, right, watching it right now for free. Hi. Thursday night, right? And in the long run, this will not be a plug, but tonight they can go find you and Sean on your show.
Yes.
Jerry. A little bit more time, right?
Oh. Not tonight. I think we're shooting. I don't want to. I got a kayfabe. They'll advertise when it's going to air. But
okay, okay, all right. I thought it was live this Thursday, but anyway.
Okay. Oh, you said Thursday. Okay, so I had a glitch or something.
No, yeah. They're announcing. Yeah.
Live Thursday. I'm sorry. I thought you said tonight. And I'm like, no, not tonight.
Well, this comes out on Thursday. If you're listening to
this episode
on Thursday morning,
I'm killing your gimmick.
No, everyone knows.
All right.
Yeah, no one thinks it's all the way live.
No. Cool. If you want more, Thursday, June 24th, 8 p.m. Eastern. Where can people go to find you, support you, hear you guys, all that kind of stuff? Jerry,
it'll be it's Front Row Material is the name of the podcast, so you'll find it, I guess, everywhere. Sorry. Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say, me and Mikey Whipwreck started it, probably 2.5 years ago or so. But I think this year we've taken a hiatus. So our co-hosts have been doing it. But I'm going to hop on there with you Thursday night.
Right on. Because, as much as we've talked about, in this hour, there's still plenty left that we haven't talked about.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
We never even hit on the movie much. Getting beat up by Jason Gedrick. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot. Yeah.
A lot of So I'm looking forward to diving into some of that with you in a few days.
Yeah.
Or tonight, depending on
yes. It's a match.
All right.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm really excited to be joined right now but one of the really, not only is he great at what he does, but just one of the best people I've met, like in and around the pro wrestling industry in quite a while. Incredibly talented, Josiah K. Williams. Josiah,
how you doing, man? And
good,
right
man.
Back to you. I feel like you're also somebody who just has that good energy, that good spirit to him. So right back to you.
I've done some work on myself over the past several years to try to get to this place. Anyways, I appreciate you noticing.
Of course.
Hey, man. Hey, I was checking up. Like you went to theater school. Like Nick? Did you know he's from Milwaukee, right up the road from you?
I did. I was also doing my research and noticed you guys were right from around the same place. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Proud, born and raised, man.
Yeah, and you went to theater school and I was really impressed, man. How did you get hooked up with wrestling?
Man, I mean, so I wouldn't say I've always been a fan, but probably since like 5th grade, 6th grade, I just fell in love with it, and I kept up watching WWE over the years. I always made music, and I wanted to do something that was kind of different than what I was putting out. So anytime I released an album, I would always try to do something, take a break and move in a different direction just to clear my mind and get new ideas. And wrestling was one of those things. A huge part of wrestling is music. So I started remixing their theme songs for all the different companies. I did some stuff for WWE, some stuff for New Japan, Ring of Honor. And WWE saw it after the first video, which was super crazy. And that's all due to, Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
Just those guys sharing the video. They hit me up. I did an audition at Monday Night Raw. I did another one at NXT about a few months later. And then, 9 months after launching Wrestling Flow, 8 months, whatever it was, I was in WWE. So it happened so fast, man, like crazy.
Yeah. Like one of the coolest things it was, and you had been there for a minute, and I can't remember what exactly had happened, but anyways, they had just, all I know is you opened the show and you crushed it, man. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that was
talk about that and what it was.
That was the night after Survivor Series, or the NXT after Survivor Series. So, going into Survivor Series, I did something for fun. I always like to, every once in a while, just do a surprise, just drop a track.
Yeah.
And, had some fun talking about how NXT was better than Raw and SmackDown, and that we were going to just demolish them at Survivor Series. So we get back, and I'm just doing whatever work I was supposed to be doing that day. Shawn Michaels walks in. He said, "Hey," and first of all, Shawn Michaels is one of those people that he's quiet, he's to himself. So I didn't even know he was talking to me.
Okay.
So he got my attention. He's like, "Hey, Josiah, I like that video that you did for Survivor Series. We want you to do that live tomorrow." And I was like, "Wait, what? Really? Okay, I'm down." So we had some ideas. Triple H had some ideas, and through some coaching and some encouragement, they let me do that next day, and it was so fun because the entire roster came out to party with everyone, and it was
and all the crowd, the people, everybody, right?
Yeah.
It was just, man, I got goosebumps watching that, Josiah. It was that great, man, and I was just like, and I had seen and heard some of your stuff prior to that, but that just blew me away, man. I was just, wow, man. I'm not sure if you know what I'm talking about, Nick, but it was,
I do, because I cover everything. I run Wrestling Inc. But yeah, of course I saw it. And the thing I think about you, Josiah, and the thing that really across all the pundits when I was doing shows talking about that was just you have a cool factor, right? There's a certain cool factor that comes along with what you do and bring to it that I don't want to bury any one show or another, but a little bit of what you bring to the table brings a younger demo in, makes it feel a little hipper. And just in general, the way you were, I would love to know more about your working relationship with Hunter and the other agents, because the way NXT has been able to just bring music into the product and make it just a regular thing has really made it stand out. And it's not like a rock and wrestling or rock and hip hop thing. It's done in a really cool way. And I thought that was an excellent use of it. So that's my take on it and my 2 cents. So.
Although I do wish, don't mean to jump in before you get a chance to reply to that, Josiah, but like I do wish there was a little bit more like hip hop type stuff, because Hunter's a metalhead, right?
Right.
So
that was one of the things I told him coming in. I'm like, I know this is your thing. I know that metal is your baby. I understand that. If you just give me a couple of opportunities to drop a little bit of hip hop in there and to reach, of course, WWE talks about trying to reach everybody, right?
Yeah.
They're a corporate entity. That's a big thing. So I'm like, if you want to reach everybody, I offer something that metal may not reach to other demographics of people. So, let's try that a little bit. And it is cool. I mean, even right now, being able to see what Isaiah Swerve Scott, Brianna Brandy, AJ Francis, Ashanti the Adonis is doing with Hit Row.
Yeah,
that's the
best thing on NXT right now.
It is. And I had a chance to talk to them the day of their debut, and I'm like, this is something that, of course, we've seen John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen Crime Time. We've seen a bunch of people who embody either rap music, just like the hip hop culture in general. I think what separates them is that this is much more authentic than some of those things. And that's of course not taken away from anything that anybody has done. I'm not that type of person, but it's like this speaks in a way that nothing else has ever spoke, especially in WWE. So I think it's amazing. It's going to be really cool to see what they do moving forward.
Yeah, and I hope the company embraces it more. So back to kind of Hunter being a metalhead, like Did he in NXT, like, did they start to see it a little bit more? Was this something that they, like, you could see kind of a change where their perception of hip hop and this culture was morphing kind of in front of your eyes?
Yeah. I think they understood that NXT was the show that was bringing in a different audience. And there was room and possibility to do that. So the first thing was, actually, let's go back. I did a track for Zia Lee, probably within my first few weeks, that never made it out. They showed it just kind of internally, and it was fun. It was cool. It really showed off what she can do with just some of her skills. And we never had a chance to do anything with it, but I think it caught the eye of a few people. After that, I was in not a press conference. What's it called? A conference meeting, whatever.
Yeah.
And I found out
production meeting.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
And I found out that I was going to be doing the entrance for Adam Cole at TakeOver 25, complete surprise. So once again, here's this opportunity to just try to infuse something different. And that was, of course, like the biggest possible platform to do that. It's a title match in the main event of the 30th anniversary or 25th anniversary, of TakeOver. So that's a big platform. And I had some ideas. Hunter had some ideas, and we kind of collaborated on that. We rehearsed it maybe only twice, I think. And he was like, yeah, just have fun, do what you do. And Road Dogg was a big influence in that one too, of just saying, look, if you want to be a star, or if you want to showcase what you can do, this is the one. This is going to be the opportunity to do that. And I wasn't nervous. I was fine with it. I was just like, I don't want to mess up,
right?
Because that's embarrassing. And I don't want them to look at it and say, oh, I wish we did this, or I wish we did that. It's fine if I do that in my head. I just don't want Triple H to do it. So I said, look, I'm going to give you everything. Because coming in, my first interaction with him was 2 or 3 months before I got hired. Yeah. And they said, hey, introduce yourself. And he's like, no, I know who he is. I've seen his videos. And I was like, what?
Feels good, right?
Right. So I always remembered that. And I'm like, okay, if he remembers what I do, I want him to see my best, and I want to be able to give my best. So yeah, we had a few opportunities to collaborate. The last one was TakeOver Vengeance Day.
Uh-huh.
I did another thing promoting the event, and either Road Dogg or somebody saw it, and it's like, well, why isn't this the cold open for the show? And within like 2 hours, that's what it was. So we did that, and then the Cameron Grimes or the new song in the same day. And it's crazy because the world of wrestling at 3 o'clock. If you get told something, you go do it, and you have to have it back before 6 o'clock or whatever it is before.
Oh, there you do. Yeah.
But I'm like, nope, I'm gonna make this work. So there were some really cool opportunities, and I think that the world of music of NXT is going to continue to expand, especially with people like Alicia Taylor around.
Yeah, right.
Rick Boogs, Beth Phoenix. There's so many people who have musical interests and that have like experience in music that NXT is just going to go crazy.
Hey, Josiah. Hey, did you have any experience performing live prior to that? Like, or were you just like mainly, recording stuff? A
lot more recording, but yeah, the biggest. So I've done, church crowds with as small as 10 people. And I had one opportunity to do a couple of performances at this youth conference called the ELCA Youth Gathering in New Orleans, I think. And that was 30,000 people. And that was like crazy. So I kind of remembered that in my mind of like, if I can do this here in front of these kids, like I can make this work in the world of professional wrestling. And I figured it out. I was ready. You make it happen, and you just communicate. It's storytelling. So just tell the story. Hey,
so I would see when I would come down like on a monthly basis, I would run into you all the time down there in Orlando. But we would be passing, maybe say, hey, or what's up, but like, I don't know what you did like on a daily basis. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I had 2 job titles. I was on air digital talent. So the easiest way to kind of put that in people's minds is Kathy Kelly. She was an on air digital talent. Mackenzie Mitchell, all the people on the bump, they're all on air digital talent. So you find kind of your way to communicate with the WWE universe and whether it's through interviews, whatever. I tried everything. I did ring announcing a couple times for NXT. I, of course, created music and fun stuff that they use even still for commercial breaks and all that. So like, how do you communicate on air and digitally there? And then the other side of it was I was a content creator. So at NXT, most times I'm holding a camera, I'm filming behind the scenes. What's a good example? Bronson Reed goes for the NXT North American Championship. I'm going to follow him the whole day along with the Content Innovation Lab. And we create the packages that are after matches, sometimes before matches that tell that full story. So yeah, there were a few of us in there that did that. And it was cool because you get the experience both on camera and behind the scenes and holding the camera as well.
Working with Cornell on a daily basis, doing all that.
Yeah. Cornell Gunther. There's
love you, Cornell.
Yes, of course. I love him, man. And that was one of the coolest things of being able to come in and have somebody that I can work with on a day-to-day basis. But that was like, I like this guy. Like, we clicked immediately. So it's to have that environment, to have somebody like that, it was dope.
He made the little mini doc on me prior to the 2019 Hall of Fame, like when I was down there. Yeah, so I got to know him real well and like I love that guy, man.
I don't know if you remember this because that was like technically my first day and first ever WrestleMania weekend attending anything, but I was there with you, following you and recording you.
That
day.
Okay.
So my shot, this is my first ever like big shot in wrestling, was you guys on the Jeep going out and everybody losing their mind. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Like being able to hold the camera and follow you guys out. That was a cool, cool.
I was so nervous. I don't know if you remember, man. I was so nervous. Like I was trying to write notes and nothing. Like I ended up just everything I tried to come up with beforehand just out the window, man.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but we actually have something in common. So you were pretty nervous before that speech. And of course it was fine. It was great. I was pretty nervous, and I mean like ridiculously nervous before the Survivor Series entrance, the afterwards. And it was because, you know, Triple H liked what I wrote, but he wanted a couple of tweaks. So I wrote a whole new verse to perform the next night.
Yeah.
And I've never done that before, to write something and then record it, or not record it, to perform it the next day. So in my mind, I had the old version and I couldn't remember the new lyrics, and I just kept forgetting it. And I felt like I was letting him down, you know what I mean, by forgetting it. And he's like, come here, put some confidence in there. Like,
he kind of did the same thing to me before we went out, remember?
Exactly. And it was like, it clicked as soon as we went live. It was perfectly fine. Yeah. But I was so nervous, man. Like, and I've never been nervous about anything before. And it was just because it was new lyrics, you know what I mean? So it was a cool experience to have somebody say, you know, we believe in you. We just want you to believe in you.
Dude, I again, a brief moment of collaboration with Hunter and Hip Hop there, as he's asking you to put together bars based on
right.
Hunter liked well, obviously we had the you know, our DX song, like it was patterned after like Rage Against the Machine, which was like a rock hip hop kind of fusion, you know. So it's not like he hates hip hop; he's just a metalhead, you know.
Sure.
Yeah. But and I mean, he liked the Run DMC, like he was done with the Run DMC version of DX. Dude, one of the greatest things ever in my career, Josiah, was having Run DMC do our theme music.
There's nothing greater than that, man.
Nothing.
That's
nothing,
and
man.
It's cool because like the original obviously is iconic. I mean, that'll go down in history. It already has. But being able to refer to a remix that Run DMC is a part of is something that no one else can really point to, man.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when they said that. Oh man. And then I couldn't make when they were shooting the video, I couldn't make it, like, because I had family time, and like I was actually even thinking about you know, taking a day away from my family to go shoot the video, but I couldn't do it to my family, man. So I was devastated not being there for this video shoot.
Oh man.
Whatever.
Everything happens for a reason, man.
Yeah.
Man.
Hey, so Joe, go ahead, Nick.
Well, I was going to talk. I just wanted to double back real quick because you mentioned how you were like a part of the Cameron Grimes. Did you write Cameron Grimes' current theme song that he has right now?
Yes. So that I was just here at home on a Friday. Road Dogg texted me that morning, and he said, "Hey, we have this really cool idea to do something for Cameron Grimes, just maybe like a music video, and we're wondering if you can write something to it." And I woke up that day, I don't know why, but I was just in a creative mood. And I got him the lyrics back in about an hour and a half, both verses. And he's like, this is crazy. So he sent it out to Hunter. He liked it. That Sunday.
You laid it down, you recorded it and sent it to him, or you just wrote it, you just put the lyrics?
I just did it in my phone. I wrote it and then just did like a voice sample so they could hear it. So this is the Friday before Vengeance Day. Vengeance Day, I get there and they show me they created, you know, WWE Music created this beat for it, and it was amazing. And I'm like, but they used the voice recording. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. No. If you're gonna debut this on a pay-per-view event tonight, I need to go home and re-record this. So I left, I re-recorded the song.
Dude.
I came back, and this is also at the same time that they're trying to figure out how are we going to use the cold open, how we're going to use the song that he did just for Twitter as the cold open. So I'm like trying to get two different songs recorded, mixed, mastered, and sent back to get approved for that night. So they had already did like a quick little music video. This is credit to Jeremy Borash and Jimmy Long.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's within a matter of 48 hours. That's how that song came to be. And then there was one day, it was actually my birthday, March 3rd for NXT. And I see that they changed, you know, the Tron and the graphics for Cameron Grimes. And they ended up using it as a theme song once, and then it just turned into a thing. So a random Road Dogg and Triple H idea turned into me actually being a part of my first WWE theme song. And it's
man, because you took that little idea and that opportunity and just
dude,
bam,
that
put it out of the park.
That song bumps. As millennials, my girlfriend and I both, we really like the Cameron Grimes character. And when I hear that particular song, I get excited. The whole package, dude. Like, it's great. I'm so happy you're a part of that, man.
Man, it was, thank you, man. It was such a blessing to be a part of. And, you know, you dream of stuff like that. Oh yeah, one day I'd love to have a WWE theme song or even just be a part of one. And on a random Friday, it might happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
Yeah. Hey, so Josiah.
Yeah.
About your release, man, I was incredible. Like, man, I was bummed out. I mean, obviously not nearly as bummed out as you. But I was like, man, but man, like a couple days later, Nick, did you see Josiah's video resume?
I did not see the video resume.
Holy crap. We should have played it on the show. It's amazing, man.
Okay.
Nick, it's amazing.
Okay, that's fine. Keep going. Yeah.
Oh, anyway, so you know, I was telling Josiah before we started recording, before you joined the room, Nick.
Sure.
You know, my wife is big. Anyways, my wife's
she's great. That's what she is.
My wife is amazing.
She's amazing.
And I showed her that, and she just couldn't believe it, man. It was so great. Man, like, any luck, man? Anybody hit you up, wanted to hire you? Because you need to hire this man.
Do you want me to play this? I have it pulled up.
Yes. Can you play it?
Yes. I'm gonna play it. We're gonna put it on the screen. 1 second. So 1 second. I'm gonna share this here. All right, there's the gimmick. Let me bring this thing.
Next job, I can't see it, but I know that it's there. Wrestling Bell is coming back again, but why the people looking at the
There we go.
What I did in spare time, I turned into a career. Ignited the crowd every time that I had to appear. When your job is kind of station with half of the generation, then you work for Triple H and say, I'm glad that you here.
It's so great.
With my turnaround, YouTube getting quicker. I had to make sure the boy had no excuse. So we can talk about the weekly show I filmed, cut, directed, and produced while I'm wearing everybody's shoes. But the bow tie and the chuck still fresh. I've been fighting for my goals, it's embedded in my soul. I'm like Giannis in control and I ain't breaking a sweat. Boy, it's in God's hands now. Cause I know with these resumes that I hand out, that I stand out. I've been thinking about my future, how it might pan out. So for those who are open to conversation, yo, I'm ready to talk.
Dude, this is amazing.
It is. It's just incredible.
This is really good.
It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. In regards to, you know,
man.
In regards to, you know, just engineer, just man.
Well, but see, that's the thing. It's like, this is like your Moxley prison break video. This is your
Yes, it is.
This is your statement piece, and this is what people need to be doing more of. This is how you capitalize on that momentum and value in that moment. This is really good.
Hey, Josiah, just like a side note, hey man, I don't know if I've done a good job, but I've been trying to be real mindful of my language during the segment. Well, just because, man, like not that you necessarily care, but like if you have somebody coming on here to watch this, I don't want to embarrass you. You know, you know what I mean? With dropping the F-bomb left and right.
Be yourself. Be yourself completely, man. But I appreciate it. No, so the idea behind this, I mean, I realized the statement that I was able to make to get to this point, to be a WWE employee. And it was from video. So in my mind, it's like, as soon as I found out, as soon as the guy told me, hey, your position has been terminated. Okay. All right. So now I have to figure out what's next. No pun intended or pun intended, whatever. And I realized also, okay, so I have to get my work in front of a bunch of people. One, I have to be able to explain what I did. Two, because I think, you know, kind of like you said, there's this idea of, okay, that's the guy in NXT, that's Josiah, that's Wrestling Flow, whatever, but we don't exactly know what he did because so much of what I did was behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Okay, so let me tell you that I produced, filmed, directed, and cut a music or a TV show. Let me tell you everything that I did, but also I want to be able to show that I'm staying positive, that I'm ready for whatever is next, and that if I don't get a call back from this place, I'm looking at all these other places that I'm ready. I'm absolutely 100% ready.
And that's not, if you don't get a call back, it's not because you haven't done everything, that a person should be doing in your situation. So
that was kind of a big part of it too, because I'm somebody who believes that God has a plan for each and every one of us. So there could be that possibility of what if professional wrestling is not in the plan moving forward, right?
Or it was just part of the journey, right?
Right, or part of the journey. You never know that. So it's like, okay, well, let me do what I can on my end to say, hey, here's what I can do, and I'm available. And if I get the calls, perfect. And if I don't, I'm not going to sit around and cry about it, because I was able to live a dream. And I know that my dream helped other people in so many different ways. So whether it's Cameron Grimes walking to the ring, or whether it's, some little black kid at home that's like, I can actually do that. Yeah. So I just wanted to go out with a bang. If I'm going out, I'm going out with a bang. Sure. And, having, I've shaken hands with people like Mick Foley, but I've never had that good time to sit and dialogue. And for someone like him to say, oh, I'm going to follow this guy now, and I'm going to share this with my people because I just saw this and I'm impacted by it. Like, that really, really, really meant a lot. So if anything happens, I'm ready. If not, it's
only a matter of time, Josiah. It's only a matter of time, my friend. Yeah.
Thanks, man. You just got to stay positive. That's it. That's all you can do.
Hey, man. I really was hoping you'd come on today, and so thank you for doing that, man. Thank
you for inviting me.
Yeah. Really. And like I said, man, somebody's got to hire you, and it's just a matter of time, man. You're an amazingly talented individual and a wonderful human being, Josiah, that I'm honored to know you, man. And I appreciate you coming on the show today.
No, man, right back to you. It's incredible to be able to, you see the people, we see you on TV, we hear you mentioned in lyrics, like you're a legend. So when you start to finally meet people and realize they're people. Yeah. You're a normal guy. And what really hit home for me is that you're someone who, you also have a story. You've also been through a lot, and people, whether they're people in companies or people who are just watching, are impacted by you, and they see that they can make changes because of you. They see that they can live a different life because of you, and
you're not hopeless, man.
Yeah,
there's hope. Yeah. There's hope for everyone.
There is hope. So I appreciate that from you, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So thank both of you guys for allowing me to even be here.
No problem. And before we let you go, where can people go to find you, follow you, support you, all those great things right now, Josiah?
All of my social media platforms are at JDean Williams. Dean is my middle name. You can check out my stuff from WWE. You can check out my stuff from AEW. You can check out my stuff from Ring of Honor. I mean, there's a little bit of something everywhere. So yeah, I'm sure if you search Wrestling Flow or Josiah Williams, you'll be able to find a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Josiah, thank you so much, my friend. Hey,
thank you.
Hey, man, I look forward to running into you somewhere, man, like in the near future.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right? It's going to happen.
Take care, my friend.
Thank you. You too.
Josiah K. Williams, everyone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the game show portion of Pro Wrestling for Life. It is me, your game show host, Nick Hausman, and joining me here today, our first contestant for the game show. He is a two-time WWE Hall of Famer, Sean X-Pac Waltman. Sean, welcome back to the game show portion of the show.
Hello, everybody. So happy to be back.
So Sean is here today to play his latest game against one of our wonderful Patreon subscribers. And today we have on the show not just one of our Pro Wrestling for Life Patreon subscribers. He is also the man behind our ever-growing Pro Wrestling for Life Facebook page. It is Timothy Taylor. Tim, welcome to the Pro Wrestling for Life game show.
He's got the 1, 2, 3. He's got the you might That's you can get that at Pro Wrestling Tees. It's the 1, 2, 3 kid shirt. It's actually that's a great design actually.
I love it.
You know, because there's another 1, 2, 3 kid shirt out. I actually have one in there, and that one's way better. So, go Pro Wrestling Tees, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, Tim, I want to thank you so much for joining us here to play this game. Now, you've been doing a great job running our Facebook page. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, are you also Sean is a father? Are you not also a father, Tim?
I am. I'm a father of 2 little girls, and they are 7 and 9, and they hold my entire heart, along with their mother, my beautiful wife, Sarah.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I know you're both dads, and there was just this day dedicated to dads just a few days ago called Father's Day, right? I hope you both had great Father's Day.
That's good. Yeah.
Tim, do you have a nice Father's Day? Yeah.
It was. I've been down with a little illness, though. Seeing the light at the end of the tunnel now. Thank goodness.
Oh, good. Well, that's awful to hear. We're glad you're on the mend, Tim. Well, today's game is inspired by that. Today's game is the first installment of a new game I've created called Who's Your Daddy? So the way that this game is played is, since it's Father's Day, I'm going to read you both true-false questions regarding pro wrestling fathers of current pro wrestlers, generational wrestlers. So we're going to be asking questions about generational fathers in pro wrestling. The person who gets the most right answers, and they're all just true or false, is going to win when I decide the game is over. Now, to start, since you're both dads, I'm going to decide here. This is an opinion-based thing. Who goes first? I'm going to start with Tim. Tim, I want you to tell me what is the one dad thing you do that your kids find to be the most embarrassing. And I'm going to decide based off of your responses, which I think is the more dad-like embarrassing thing that you do. So, Tim, what's the embarrassing dad thing that you do, you think?
That's totally easy. It's when I, in a very cheesy manner, ask their mother to slow dance.
Okay, got it. All right, so Sean, he's saying slow dancing. Here's the cheesy dad thing. What's your cheesy dad thing that you do, your embarrassing dad thing? Do you have one?
The God's honest truth, Nick, is that my kids think I'm so cool, like nothing I do embarrasses them. Nothing.
Of course.
That's not to say that I have never embarrassed them in the past. However, currently, there's nothing I do that embarrasses my children.
All right.
So, well, Timothy, not the Toolman Taylor, you go first.
All right. So Tim has won the honors because Sean is too cool to do anything that embarrasses his children. Everyone remember that. By the way. And I hope your kids, by the way, hear this and then they respond to us. They're like, well, that's not true. Dad does a thing or two. Anyway. All right. So here it is. Tim, true or false? In WWF, Rocky Johnson, father of The Rock, and Tony Atlas, their tag team name was the Soul Patrol. Is that true or false?
I think that's false.
I'm sorry. That is correct. That is true. Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson were known as the Soul Patrol. You look like you knew that, Sean.
Yeah, I knew it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, no.
I wonder why they called him that.
I don't know. Because.
Anyways, yeah.
Soul Man Rocky Johnson, I guess, maybe. All right.
Yeah, that's right. He was called Soul Man Rocky Johnson, wasn't he?
Yeah, I've got his book over here. It's called Soul Man. Yeah.
That's right.
Anyway. Yeah. All right. So, Sean, back to you. And now on you. According to Bob Orton Sr., father of Randy Orton, he had an incident in 1986 with Roddy Piper where he wound up naked and drunk on the roof of a hotel and was shot 3 times by police tasers. True or false?
Well, is this for me?
Yeah, this is for you. Is that true?
Oh, well, first of all, I have to correct you, Nicholas.
Yes, sorry.
Randy Orton's father is Bob Orton Jr. Bob Orton Jr.'s father is Bob Orton Sr.
Okay, never mind. So this is, okay, the This is Bob Orton Jr.'s dad. Still, I'm not out of line, though, but Bob Orton Sr. is who I looked up here. Is it true in 1986 with Roddy Piper, he wound up naked and drunk on a roof, being tased 3 times by police tasers?
I'm going to go with true.
That is true. That is a real thing that happened. It is crazy, and I just felt like including it on this list. Yeah, back in the day. All right, over to you, Tim. So Vince McMahon Sr., father of Vince McMahon Jr., he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, the WWE Hall of Fame, in 1992. Is that true?
I'm going to say false. I think it was a little later than that.
You are correct. He was not inducted until 1996. So you guys are tied 1 apiece now. So good job. Wow. Your Hall of Fame knowledge there. All right, Sean, back to you. Vince McMahon Jr., father of Shane McMahon and Stephanie, helped to promote Evel Knievel's infamous motorcycle jump over Caesar's Palace fountain.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
No, he did not. That is false. Do you know what he did help promote for Evel Knievel?
Snake River Canyon?
He did. Vince McMahon Jr. had a hand in the Snake River Canyon. Yeah, promote.
The guy. So in the movie that Jerry Lynn and I did that we talk about, like,
okay,
a little bit, crossing the bridge. The guy that got us that gig, his name was Kai Michelson. He made the rocket.
Oh, really?
For Evel Knievel. Yeah, he also anyways, yeah. The Rocket Man, Kai Michelson. He also discovered Medusa.
I did not know that. Wow. All of these things came from an Evel Knievel reference. Okay. Yep. 2-1 in favor of Sean. Back to you, Tim. Ric Flair, father of Charlotte Flair, has won the Wrestling Observer's Match of the Year award 4 different times. True or false?
At least 4, I would think. So I'm going to say true.
It is true. Yes, Ric Flair, Match of the Year 4 different times. All of them, I believe, before 1989, by the way, if you want to go check online. So that's 2 apiece. Back to you, Sean. Ted DiBiase, father of Mike, Ted Jr., and Brett DiBiase, appeared on the WWE Raw 25th anniversary episode playing poker with the Acolytes Protection Agency. True or false?
I don't remember that. False.
That is true. That is actually what he did. He did on that show. So we are now back to 2 apiece. I think it's time for you to maybe take the lead here, Tim, if you can. Jim Neidhart, father of Natty Neidhart. He played for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Minnesota Vikings in practice and preseason games before becoming a pro wrestler. True or false?
I think I remember. I'm going to say false. I think he might have been with the Vikings, but not the Chiefs.
Wow.
Raiders.
Wow. It was. He played for the Raiders and the Cowboys. So you were right. That was bullshit. So that's 3-2. All right. Back to you, Sean. Davey Boy Smith, father of Harry Smith, so the British Bulldog, joined WCW in 1997, and he had his very first feud with Diamond Dallas Page. Is that true or false, Sean?
I don't remember that. False.
False. His first feud was with Mongo McMichael when he jumped to WCW. 3 apiece here. All right. I'm going to go to you, Tim. Finley, father of David Finley, competed in Pro Wrestling Guerrillas Battle of Los Angeles in 2011. True or false?
Oh, well, I'm going to sound like Sean on this one. I don't have a clue at all. Let's guess false.
It was true, actually. Finley competed in the 2011 BOLA. Wow. All right. And Sean, it's 3 apiece here. I think this would put it away. And this is also my last question, so it's going to be the end of the game regardless. Sika Anawahi, father of Roman Reigns, was one of 8 children. True or false?
False.
That is false. You have won the game. Sika Anawahi, Roman Reigns' dad, was one of 13.
I was going to say, yeah, that's not nearly enough. Like, I was going to say that number seems a little low.
I said 8 is like a red herring. Like, that's a lot of kids. 13 children. Sika
one more than Stu and Helen had.
Yes. Wow. So anyway, Sean has won the first installment of Who's Your Daddy. Congratulations. I believe this is the second time you've actually won the game. Tim, you're a Facebook manager, so I'm sending you a new shirt anyway, so you're going to get a prize regardless.
Tim, what the hell, man?
Yeah, man. I'm sorry?
Everyone beats me. What's going on, man? I'm disappointed.
I think Nick lost down. I wasn't going to say anything, but
All right. Well, fine. Put on the referee. I got it. Tim, where do you want to send people to find you, follow you, support you, all those great things?
Absolutely. I am at Timmy Dale Taylor on Twitter. I will constantly PW4L stuff, and by all means, we're going on Facebook Pro Wrestling for Life. Come find us on there, like us. We're gonna ramp up the interaction, so everybody come join us, come give us a like over there.
Cool.
Hey Tim, thank you so much, man.
Hey Sean, thank you. Absolutely, friend.
I'll talk to you soon, Tim. Take care, brother.
That's it for this edition of Pro Wrestling for Life, everyone. I just want to thank, from the bottom of my heart, Jerry Lynn for giving us an hour of his time. Go check out his show with Mikey Whipwreck that I'm going to be on later today, right? So yeah. And Timothy, not the Tool Man Taylor, thank you for holding down the Facebook page and for playing me a game of Who's Your Daddy.
Right.
And
Josiah
K. Williams. Josiah, love you, my friend. I just such a big fan of that guy, man. Somebody's gonna be hiring him soon.
All right, that's it. If you like the show, you want to get it early, ad-free, patreon.com/ProWrestForLife. That's really all of our social media handles. Thank you all so much for the support. It's been a great week. That's all I got. We're done.
See you guys.
Bye.